Hey, fellow knights, welcome back to another video. So, in my last video, I talked about Hillary's Wink not being in karate collections and how sad I was to not get her in karate collections. But now I'm going to be talking about how Jaden Smith wasn't even in Karate Kid either, and Legends either. And I have to say, I'm kind of happy he wasn't. Technically, his Karate Kid film was the first Karate Kid film that I've seen from start to finish, and I've seen that in theaters. And as a kid, I know, I know I loved it. I really enjoyed that Karate Kid film, the 2010. And then I went back some point in my life, like a few years after I saw that Karate Kid film. I saw the Daniel LaRusso Karate Kid trilogy and the Julius Pierce Karate Kid films, and I really enjoyed them. And I will even admit, the next Karate Kid may be the weakest of the four original Karate Kid films, but I do think it's an underrated film. I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed the next Karate Kid. I really enjoyed Julie Pierce. And so after I watched the four movies, I watched the 2010 Karate Kid film, right? And I enjoyed it as a kid, and I really enjoy it. I'm really happy that I was able to enjoy it. It came out in 2010, so I was like 14 when it came out. Guess I'm a 96 baby. I was about 14 when Jaden Smith's Karate Kid film came out. So I was just became a teenager, practically. And after I rewatched it, after I seen the four Karate Kid films that came out before that, I said, there might be elements that I may still enjoy in this film, but as a whole, I don't think Jaden Smith's Karate Kid is good or needed. So, like, when the Karate Kid Legends came out, like, was announced, I was, like, skeptical a bit, but was pleasantly surprised. Karate Kid Legends, I think, it's not, like, the best movie, it's not, a decent movie, but it's definitely better than Jaden Smith's Karate Kid film, in my opinion, but let's take a deep dive. So, Karate Kid Legends, the latest Karate Kid cinematic universe in the Karate cinematic universe, was began in 1984. It comes after the massive success of Cobra Kai, the Netflix spin-off series that re-engaged audiences' interest in the martial arts-based franchise. Legends is a coming-of-age story that tells the tale of Kung Fu prodigy Lee Fong, who, after moving to New York City, attracts attention from a karate champion and gets trapped into up in a world. Gets wrapped up in this world. Alright. Playing Lee is American-born Chinese star Ben Wang Wang performs performance has received great praise. And I think it did a good job, not gonna lie. Whereas Cobra Kai focused on adult Daniel LaRusso, reigniting his rivalry with Johnny Lawrence, Karate Kid Legends brings back franchise stars from multiple generations. Lee is joined by Daniel LaRusso, the other, the original trainee of Mr. Miyagi. Lee also interacts with Miss Han, who trains Dre Parker in Kung Fu 2010's Karate Kid. Despite the intergenerational Karate Kid reunion, Jaden Smith's Dre does not make a comeback in Karate Kid Legends, and there are some key reasons why. So, while Dre is a key part of the Karate Kid franchise, there are a couple of reasons why it would not have worked to include him in the story. The main reason is that Smith is now considerably older than he was in the previous film. 15 years has passed in real time since Mr. Han trained Dre, who has who was 12 years old at the time of the movie release. Smith himself was also 11 or 12 at the time of the filming, and is now an adult at 26. This would position Dre as an entirely different type of character. I think it could have potentially worked. Maybe Lee was having a hard time with how Miss Han was teaching. And maybe Dre could have been there saying, "Yeah, I've been there quite literally. Gotta trust the process, man. You got this. I know you do." And walk out. It could have been that all things considered, especially the length of the movie, a 5-second cameo. But I'm not exactly complaining that Dre was in the film. While Karate Legends does bring up the franchise characters from yesteryear, including Dre, which shifts the tone of the film. Both Mr. Han and Daniel can be painted as wiser, seasoned martial artists, masters, given their ages and thus over how long they have been a part of the franchise. While Dre would have aged, he would still be in his 20s and thus bring the youthful energy to the martial arts training that may have undermined the nostalgic tone that Karate Legends maintains for the duration of the film. Lee is the center of this new generation instead. I still think they're still starting Julie Pierce, just saying. So even though he's not included in Legends, Dre is definitely part of the Karate Kid universe. This was confirmed by director Jonathan Entwistle, who recently said in Inverse that the character is still canon. That said, Dre does not exist any kind of direct relation to the Karate Kid Legend stories. Entwistle explained this by saying that no real reference. He's no real reference to the particular chapter. He did, however, acknowledge that the character is important to Mr. Han's own story. So he does exist. I think he still is. Absolutely, the character is still canon, but he's no real reference to Lee Fong. He's no real reference to this particular chapter. It's not to say that he's not reference to a chapter in Mr. Han's story. That's not for sure. Dre's canonization makes sense. Even if he's not included in the latest film, he's somewhat of a rare case within the Karate Kid universe, as other important characters from the films have come back for at least one major project, probably referring to Cobra Kai. But part of Dre's story still lives on through the appearance of Mr. Han, as implied by Entwistle. As such, the 2010 version of Karate Kid has not been forgotten or decanonized. Forcing to Foregoing to include Dre in Karate Kid Legends really helps put the spotlight on Link Fong, which I agree. Instead of Dre, it is Link who is Mr. Han's legendary praise student. This allows the film to focus on its relationship between Lee and Mr. Han, rather than mentioning Lee's talent by highlighting on the previous martial arts prodigies. This keeps the tone and messaging of Karate Kid Legends consistent and ultimately a realistic movie. With Dre still being with Dre still being confirmed part of canon, however, it's possible that the character could come back in a future installment. Again, I'm not mad about that. The only cameo that I'm truly mad that we never got in both Legends and Cobra Kai is Chili Pierce. I think we should have got a Chili Pierce cameo somewhere. I guess Swink didn't seem interested coming back, but that's the one thing I had to say. I'm like, man. But the reason why I don't entirely like, I'm not a huge fan of the 2010 Karate Kid film, even though there's aspects I do like about it, is because I feel like it tried to take the best of the four films, which I don't have any issues with that, but try to compact it in like, what, an hour and 40? No, 2 hours? And I guess it's the way they try to do it. It just felt a little bit too compact. Like, influence of the four movies and just compact it. And I guess that's what is the turnoff for me. Just feels a little bit too compact. Trying to be all four Karate Kid films in one. So, that's just me. Anywho, what do you fellow knights think? Would you guys love to see Jaden Smith in Karate Kid Lessons or no? I personally don't get with it. That said, love you guys. Have a wonderful day. Kind of one another. I will talk to you fellow knights later.